All right, so we're gonna go see how to refresh our friends list properly over here on Facebook. I started the record a little bit late, but the juicy stuff's coming anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, so I'm gonna move all of our faces down here so that whoever watches the replay can actually see what's happening. And I'm gonna get rid of this thing there. All right, oh my word, okay. Okay, here we go. So this is our team page. I'm just gonna head over to home. Now, right now, guys, I'm on my laptop, and I now can no longer see anybody. So if anybody puts something in the chat, Julie or Tammy, would you mind just letting me know, or you can unmute yourselves and speak. And it's so that you guys get the best possible view here. So you'll notice that I'm really happy to say that the first person who came up on my newsfeed was not a Plexus person. So that's the first thing. If you notice that you've got a lot of Plexus people in your newsfeed, then that means you're loving on their stuff to support them, and you darn should, okay? And if you're not, make sure you start doing that. Don't just scroll by Plexus posts. You show some love to the community for sure in the ways that I just described. So that's the emoji and the quick comment. The quick comment can be an emoji too, okay? So, you know, my friend Veronica's on here. She's got some sweet pictures of her kids. Oh, isn't that cute? I'm going to take that opportunity to say something to her. And when I hover over the like, whether I do this on my phone or I do this on my laptop, I get all these emojis. The blue one, it carries some weight, and it does matter. It's not nearly as amplified as the heart. And the further over you go, the stronger they are. Now, I would recommend not leaving angry emojis if you want people to like you. And if it's not sad, don't leave a sad one. I use the wow as much as I can. I use the ha-ha lots because things are funny. And I use the heart a lot. So it just depends on what it is. So I'm going to say wow to this one. And I'm just going to say, great pics. What a big bunch of where are they? Oh, right, Hockey Banquet. Okay, now that's really simple what I just did. And yes, it takes time, but this is relationship building. And on your IPA sheet in your new success kit, if you haven't noticed it yet, don't worry. There's a lot of things at our fingertips. But when you have a minute, go to your success kit. And if you haven't ordered it yet, I would recommend you do it. It's only $12.95 Canadian, and it's action full chock of good stuff. So in there's a great new IPA format. It's in the book. You can photocopy it. That's what I'm using now for my IPA. So IPA means income producing activities. And a huge part of it is relationship building. And who did you relationship build with? And even my old income producing activity sheet that I was using had room for relationship building, because we're not just going to spew Plexus on people. The whole idea here is that you want to market yourself as a positive person. You want to be yourself. You want to be authentic, okay, because it shows. People will see right through it if you're not. But you want to go in and love on people. You just want to love on people, and you want to make people feel good, make them feel valued, even on social media. And you don't want to say stuff that's not true or overdo it or overinflate. But you know what? You can really spark up some fantastic conversations. And because I've done this with Veronica's post, I bet you she's going to notice my next Plexus post. And that's the whole other side of this, is that because I'm doing this, I'm keeping her, we're staying together here in this whole algorithm, she and I. And so I'm going to continue to see her, and she's going to continue to see me because I've done this one little thing. I don't spend a lot of time scrolling. I mentioned to you I was going to show you how to keep track of your 5,000 people, okay, or your 2,000 or your 450 or whatever it is that you have. So I am under Explore, okay, and this video, again, it's recorded, so don't worry if you miss something, and don't worry about remembering everything. But under Explore, you'll see that there's a spot for friends lists. And I'm just going to click on that right now. I've got a whole bunch of friends lists. Some of them are made for me by Facebook. And I'll tell you how this works. If you put in where you work on Facebook, then Facebook will make you a friends list of people just from that place. So Port Elgin Regional School is the school I taught at. There are people, who have put down that they work there. So if I click on that, I should see, I'll click on this one because it'll be more people. So you'll see the name of my friends list is Anglophone East School District. And these are all the teachers who've put down that they work there. This isn't all the teachers in the world that work there because Facebook doesn't read people's minds, right? So the people have to put in that they work there. But you'll notice these people all work there. And so that's one way that I can go in and keep track of my people. But to me, having a whole bunch of lists is kind of difficult. So what I've done is I've created my own lists. And what I do is about once a week, as I'm adding new friends, about once a week, I go add them to this specific list. And I call this list connections. Now you'll notice that I also have a Plexus team one. That's so I can go in and love on all my team stuff. Let's say I'm busy at school and then I have parent teacher, or let's say I'm busy at school and then my kids have activities or whatever, and I don't get to Facebook until later, except to do a very few things like answer customers' questions or potential questions. Then I will go to this Plexus team, click on this, and you'll see my team is in there. And so I need to go in there and love on all this stuff when our training's over because I haven't done it yet today. But I go in and I love, wow, laugh at their stuff, throw a little comment in there so that their stuff gets boosted up. So this is a twofold system. You're keeping your friends intact that you want to see your Plexus stuff by building relationships with them that are intentional. And then you're also able to, if you're growing a team, you're able to keep track of them as well and help them with their algorithm and with their posting. So I'm going to go back to friends lists again. So there's all my friends lists again. Now I'm going to go to my connections one, and I'm going to show you like all my friends are in there, okay, that are potentials. If someone becomes a customer, I put them over with my team. If somebody is an ambassador on my team, they go on my team. This is for people who I have not brought onto my team either as a customer or as an ambassador yet. So what I do is I'm going to go through here in a bit, and I'm just going to like and love on all their stuff. And I'm going to throw a little comment on each one. And sometimes it's just going to be like an emoji comment, like a heart, or today probably some hockey sticks, that kind of stuff. I'm just going to make sure that I am keeping these people engaged with me, and that's how you do it. So let me show you how to make the list, okay? So I've got all these lists made that I use. You'll notice I've got one that's millennials even. So my millennials would be people that I would want to make sure that I'm also going into like and love with their stuff. And I also can post, by the way, in these friend groups, you can actually just post to those people. So I could post a millennial attractive type of post to my millennials. So if I want to create a list, I just go to this + create list, and I can name the list like I did with my connections. So if I said training, then down here, I can choose who I want to be on this list. So Marilyn's here. I can have Marilyn there. I could have Kent on there. I could have, oops, sorry, Kent. I could have Tara on there, and I could have Julie on there, and Tammy. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to create this list. All of a sudden, I'm up here at my training, and the only people that I'm going to see on here are the people who are on the list that I just made, which is kind of groovy if you think about how easy that was to do. And so I would recommend that you transfer your friends over to a list like this, because you are going to benefit. It just shortcuts the whole thing for you. You don't have to spend hours like flailing on social media, because that's not really going to be moving your business forward in the true sense. If you look over here at manage list, if you're adding names later, so you make your initial list and then you're like, oh right, I want to add Sally and Bob. You add Sally and Bob here by clicking on manage list and then edit list. So you'll notice that it says the people on this list are the people that are going to show up. So these are all the people I added to it. But let's say I wanted to add from my friends, not on this list. I've already added everybody who's on this list. So I go to my friends. And maybe I add Adam. He's hilarious. You'd love him. Oops. The little check mark beside his name is what you want to see. And let's say I'm going to add Amy. And then I just click finish. And then when I go to manage list again to see it, they should be added. And they are, those two people that I just added. You can also just delete them out if you don't want them on that list. Just like that. There's a little white X. See right here? You can get rid of those people. Okay? If, let's say, you need to move them into a different list, or maybe you're just finished for some reason. Okay? So I'm going to X out of there. I'm going to go back to my friend list for a second. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to delete that list. So this little wheel, edit training link, I can delete it. It asks me if I'm sure, and I am, and it's gone. So that you can manage your list so you don't end up with 500 lists, okay? And it's just that simple. That is the most basic and fundamental thing about social media, is that you are getting in front of people every day with your posts. We work hard to create these posts. We try to be, follow the laws of attraction marketing when we're doing them. And so we want to make sure that our audience is hot, meaning that we are recirculating them in our news feed so that they're there, and they're going to be aware of what we're doing. Now, I want to give you an example. We talk often about, I'm just going to minimize this a little bit, like that maybe. We talk often about, I'm posting, but nobody's saying anything. Are people really seeing my posts? Let me give you an example of how I know that they do. So before our call tonight, I was on a call with a potential. And she has never commented on our stuff. And so when I reach out to somebody and ask for the phone call, I always have a story. I have a story that that it changes a little bit when I tell it, in the sense that I don't have it memorized word for word, but the formula is there. I tell them why I wanted to talk to them. I tell them why I think that this would be great for them. And then I tell them why I did it first and how it grew into a business for me. So as I was telling her about why I came to Plexus, which was for the products first, everything I started to say, she would finish the sentence for me. She knew about my husband's belly problems and that we had a door on our fridge of hot sauce. She knew that my hormones weren't balanced. She was answering my questions. I looked over at my husband during the phone call. I was like, can you believe this? Like,
it was quite impressive.
It was really impressive. And so this girl's watching me. She's not commenting on my stuff, but guess who's commenting on hers? This girl. Okay? It works. Take the time to do this. And if it means you review this video after, or go over it with your sponsor or another friend on the team, do it, because it really, really works. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to back over here. I can't see anybody, so I'm just going to try to, I can't escape out of this. I'm doing something silly. One second. Whoops. There. Okay. So were you guys just seeing my Facebook? Everything's good? Okay. It's just acting kind of funny. All right. So far, all we've done is talk about how to get in front of people, right? We haven't talked about anything except how to get in front of people, and how to make sure that people continue to show up in front of you and in front of your posts. Okay. So that is part of growing your network. But another part of growing your network is joining groups in your community, in your physical community, not on social media, but on your physical community, right? So we want to belong. We want to be talking to people out and about. I know that there are people who intentionally leave with a Plexus postcard and a stick of Slim everywhere they go, and they're just ready to talk to people and ready to share. And, in the grocery store lineup or at the park or wherever they go. I have a triangular lifestyle right now. I literally go from this spot to school, and then the third corner in my triangle is daycare, and then I come back home. And that is literally my lifestyle, other than my children's activities. So that's my one time that I can get out there and talk to people. not my one time. I find other times too when it works. But for the most part, that's our life because we have young children and we don't have the same work schedule. So I maximize those times just by building relationships, making play dates with those families, going to the Sugar Woods, doing those types of things, getting to know people, becoming part of their thought process, and someone that you care about them and they care about you. It's all about fostering that first. And then when you want to build these relationships on social media, it takes longer and you have to be very patient. And ladies and gentlemen, there are some big rules about groups. So if you've joined any groups on social media, you already know that there's a pinned post typically at the top of the group. And the pinned post will tell you, we don't want any spammers. Don't try to sell your stuff here. This group is for XYZ. So maybe it's a hunting and fishing group, or maybe it's a knitting group, or maybe it's a Whole30 group. I'm on like 4 different Whole30 pages because we're doing Whole30 right now. Maybe you're a runner and you're in a running group, or maybe you're in a group of medical professionals and that's the kind of group you're in. You need to find something you're really interested in, something you're passionate about, so that you can contribute to the group, but also so that you can comment on and share valuable opinions with others on their posts. Okay. So I'm going to, and there are groups that you may not want to be in because they're negative and people are always trashing this and that. Get out of those groups. We know that those people need plexus, but you probably are not going to get very far in negative groups. So you want to really be in groups that are quality, that provide content and value to you, and that fuel your passion for that thing. So I'm going to just do this one more time, share my screen, see if we can do this again without, gee, that's weird. Oh, I know why. Okay, sorry. I talk to myself a lot when I do this. Okay. Just honk if you can't see my Facebook. Oh, look, that's my mom and all her brothers and sisters. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to love that one just a sec. I'm not going to laugh. So, groups. Let's go to groups. So when you are on your laptop, it looks different than when you're on your phone, but you can accomplish this either way. Okay. So I'm going to go to my groups. Now, you're going to have some invites. People will add you to groups without asking your permission. If you own groups or have a group of your own, this isn't really part of the topic, but it's just a strong opinion that I have that I want to share with you. It's really not very politically correct, or it's not very good etiquette, I guess, to add people to groups without their permission. And when people add me to groups without my permission, I actually most often leave them because they clog up my notifications, and also because I just don't want to belong to a bunch of groups that I didn't choose to be in. When people ask me, I most often would say yes. You can favorite your groups so that you have certain ones that you use more than others. And then you can have groups that you manage. So Facebook kind of takes care of organizing those for you. And then, you can also search for groups up here. Okay. So you could search for Running Mums Australia. That's a really good one to belong to if you're at all interested in running and you're a Plexus ambassador, because it's great to make those connections with Australians, where that's one of our markets. But you'll notice there's all kinds of different running clubs that you could belong to, or running groups. Let's say you want to do Stay-at-Home Mom. There's a lot of that kind of thing here. Stay-at-Home Mom Life, Stay-at-Home Moms United, there's Stay-at-Home Dads, and all kinds of different groups. I'm going to do knitting next. So knitting for beginners, knitting and crochet group, knitting groups near me, patterns. If I go to like Whole30, like the one that I was telling you guys about, this is Jill Renfro's group, Support Southern Style. There's another support group, a recipe exchange, recipes, beginners, Whole30 Canada. It's crazy. There are groups for absolutely everything. Okay. There's music teacher ones. I'm on those. Music teachers. There's band teacher unites. All kinds of different groups that you can belong to. So I'm just going to kind of show you how I might create a post in a group. Okay. And I'm going to go to the Whole30 one just because it's one that I'm in a lot right now. And by the way, I didn't say this yet, but I would suggest focusing on 2 to 3 groups and leaving it at that. Don't try to be in 10 groups because you're going to spread yourself too thin. How are you going to make any gains or create any relationships? So my suggestion would be go to one that that makes sense. So Whole30 beginners. And I'm going to go over there. And Whole30 is just, it's a food movement. So it's all about eating whole foods and sort of eliminating sugar and dairy and some other stuff. So that's funny. That's a spaghetti squash. So that's actually a really cool post that I would probably put on my wall. But you'll see, like, I have something I could say about all of these different posts. Let's look at this one here. Oh, I love that musical. And so I'm going to say it's The Greatest Showman. Way to go. So this girl has finished her round of Whole30. So 30 days of eating without any refined sugars. So I put, yay, way to go. This is an incredible musical. And I wanted to know something else about me. I am doing This Is Me with my choir. So right away, she's going to find out that I am interested in music and that I love musicals. And you know what? We may strike up a conversation. And even if she says, that is awesome, it's my favorite, then that's an in for me to continue the conversation. So you're going to continue this conversation just the same way you would in Messenger or in the grocery store line. And that's the value in these groups. Eventually, you're going to end up becoming friends with some of the people that you see often in these groups. And then what's going to happen is organically, they're going to see your Plexus stuff. You're going to be having conversations, and hopefully they're going to come your way instead of you going their way. But there'll come a point where it will be appropriate for you to have a chat with them about what it is that you offer people to help them. Okay. And that's the value of groups. And this is another huge way to grow your network. Now, I'm just going to stop my share again because I want to see a show of hands here. Okay. So how many of you saw on the Plexus Ambassador community page today, Matt Aaron he just posted a live there. It was also a Zoom call, and it was with a senior Ruby, but I can't remember her name. Tammy, were you on there? No. Is anybody from this call on there? It's on the page. You can go watch it. And she's done some training with Nadia Shelton. Nelton, pardon me. She's a network marketing professional, but she focuses on training leaders. And so anyway, she was talking about what we're talking about right now. And she asked the audience in the Facebook Live, she said, how many of you, when you see a friend who comments on your stuff or you're on their wall and you have mutual friends, how many of you friend the mutual friends? And most of the people that were in the Zoom, I couldn't see the Zoom because it was a Facebook Live, but must have raised their hands because she said exactly, and that's what you need to be doing. So we don't want to go harvest our friends' lists of friends. That's not what I mean. But if you've got a friend and you see that you have 64 mutual friends with that person, or even 10, or even 8, that's another way to grow your network. So you can go to that person's page. So right now, I'm just going to go to Julie's and pick on Julie. So if I go over to Julie's page and I go to her friends, you're going to find out something interesting about Julie. She's hidden all of her friends that aren't mutual from me, which is really good. And I suggest that you guys all do this because some people do this not very tactfully. They'll go through and just add all the way through your friends list. So you can actually privatize your friends list, but most people don't. So if you have a common friend and they have some friends that you can add to your network, you're not going to ever add people to your network that you don't have mutual friends with. Like, look, Andrea McAloon, 941 friends is what she have. You can see that she has that many friends. That means that she has not privatized her friends list. If I go up here to this pull down tab and I go to settings, I can download a copy of my Facebook data here, and I can get a copy of my friends, and I can download that, but that's not what I wanted to show you. Hang on. Oh, because I have to do it on mine, guys. Sorry. Okay, so I go to my friends list. It's just a little bit slow. So what I'm about to do is show you how to hide the people that you won't have mutual friends with others. So you're basically hiding your friends list from people. Maybe my friends list is not available right now. Oh, there it is. If you go over to this little pen under manage, you can edit the privacy of your friends group, and you can make it so only you can see your friends. Okay, so I'm the only person who can see my followers. I'm the only people who can see the pages and lists that I follow. I'm the only person that can see my friends list. And that way you're protecting your friends from spammers, okay? But if you notice that you have some common friends with people, and again, like if you have more than 8 friends, I would just say, you know what, why not grow your network? And that was a big thing that she covered today in that live. So growing your network, we've talked an awful lot about it. We talked about how to keep the algorithm going. We talked about how to stay in the algorithm of others and how to keep people in yours. We talked about creating friends lists to cut down on your time and filtering your friends into that friends list, into the friends list that you can call whatever you want. You can call it potentials, connections, whatever you want to call it. And now we just looked at friends lists and that kind of thing, and growing that way, as well as groups. So that's an awful lot of different ways to grow your network. So if you're thinking, I don't know how to grow my network, we just gave you 5 ways to do it. Okay, so there are ways to get this done for sure. Let's talk about how to post. I'm actually going to show you some different types of posts. And I'm going to start off with this. Oops. Tara Castaneda. I like the way she posts. She's very classy. She's a diamond ambassador. Actually, she's a diamond senior gold, or diamond ruby maybe. She brands herself well. If you look at her pictures, you can tell. Oh, she is. She's diamond ruby. It says it right here in this picture. She brands herself as mom. They've just bought a ranch and they're working through this ranch. You rarely see Plexus on her page, but when you do, it's always really nice. Notice that she's just using a boomerang video here. It's so simple to use that app. It's free. You can download it to your phone. And she's just very plain and simple. She's using some hashtags here, which again, I promise I'll show you how to use those. And, I noticed she's plexusing a little bit more these days, and it's probably because there's so much excitement with our launch and with this whole thing that's going to happen very soon with new products. So, but a lot of what she does is like this. Notice that you don't see any crazy graphics, and I want to show you so what some of those look like. And I hope that I'm not going to offend anybody by showing you these. If you have used them, I'm really sorry, but whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
Can I just interject that we all went through a phase of doing that? So if you're in that phase, don't worry, be happy, and now you're going to know better.
Thank you, Jill. Oh my gosh, I can barely hear you. That's funny. That's right. That's exactly right. So if I look at graphics that I might consider a little bit graphic-y, cheesy, well, obviously this one's outdated. Like anything that's outdated like that, like we don't have the old Slim in Canada, first of all, and we're all Canadians on the call here tonight. Like even this one, I'm selling something, right? And yes, you know what, guys, we are selling something. We are. But this is all about marketing and relationships. And so if you somebody's just going to look at that and go, nope, and they're just going to keep scrolling. There's that pink drink again. But if you present that pink drink in a different way that's fun, or you put it beside a dish that you've just made for your family, it's just so different and it just creates a totally different vibe. So I'm going to come over here. Now, Tammy, you did a really good one yesterday. Let me go look at Tammy. Maybe it was today, Tammy. Oh, those are nice. I like this. See the simplicity of this post? Tammy's used emojis. She's referenced the flavors in the Slim. And it's simple. I love it. I haven't commented on it though, Tammy. I will. I hadn't seen it. This is I'm looking for the one with all the hockey sticks. I love it. This one. I loved this so much when I saw it. Just grabbing a bite of lunch at 4, and that funny emoji. I wonder how long this peanut butter's been in my drawer. It's just funny and it's comical and it draws people in, and they're interested in maybe saying a few words about it, right? So it's that kind of post is kind of neat. And notice there are Plexus water bottles there, just kind of off to the side. It's not the focal point, but it's still there. So that's another way that you can bring Plexus into things for sure. Okay. So thanks, Tammy. Sorry, I put you on the spot there. Let me show you this one. And these are just people that I follow, okay? And I don't necessarily copy off of we're going to talk about copying posts here in a minute, but I don't necessarily copy off of exactly what they do. I make them my own. So these are always very nice. When you find sayings that you like, save them. Or you can even save the post by right-clicking in the corner and just click Save Post, like this. And then you can actually go over and grab it if you go home and go to Saved. See, it's right there, and I can use it later as a reminder, or I can, use it in a different way. Okay, so when you save these posts, they stay there for you, and then you can use them later when you want to. One thing that I would caution everybody against, and I'm just going to go back over so I can see everybody again. One thing I would caution you guys against is this. We don't have to ask each other if we can borrow each other's posts. We really don't. Okay, so don't feel like you have to reach out to Mel and say, hey, Mel, can I use your post you did today on magnesium? Or, can I, share, whatever. You don't have to ask. But what is really good etiquette and what is proper, because if you have mutual friends with Mel, then they're going to see the same post, right? So if you copy and paste the exact same graphic and the exact same words and emojis and hashtags, then guess what? You've just hit the same person with 2 identical posts, and that person is going to be turned off, okay? You need to be yourself. Figure out what it is that you want to entertain your public with. Maybe it's, that you love to make jam. I don't know, I'm making that up. Or maybe it's that you love to cook and you do cooking things and you share your cooking things. Or maybe it's your kids, or maybe it's both. Or maybe it's like you are a supreme sewing machine and you create your own patterns and you make your own clothing. Or maybe it's that you are a shopper and you're a shopaholic and here you are out again shopping. I don't know what your jam is, but figure out what it is. Maybe it's bowling, maybe it's sleeping, maybe it's, outsmarting your kids. I don't know, but figure out what it is and find fun ways to incorporate your life into your posting. And that's what attracts people to you. In and amongst those posts, once per day, maybe you can do a Plexus related post, like, have a selfie with your pink drink, or have a selfie and say something about your journey. Do an article about the benefits of magnesium. and, you know, put a, and share some content with your public. When you share articles or videos, my advice to you would be to put them in the comment section of your post. Otherwise, Facebook sees you as a salesperson, and they actually will slow down that algorithm for you. So put those videos and those articles in the comment section. And you can put like you can say, check out this great article in the comment section, and put some emojis that go like this. That's attractive. It'll draw people to your post. But that's something that you can do so that you can keep that algorithm going nice and fast, okay? So lastly tonight, so we talked about some do's and don'ts. So make sure that if you save posts, you don't copy and paste them. And make sure that if you are not borrowing, but like using content from people's posts, you don't just directly use it. Make sure that you change the graphic, change the wording, make it authentically you. And I, you know, if for some reason you did share the same exact content, for whatever reason, just make sure you don't do it even within a week. Like, space it out over a long period of time, but really the rule would be don't do it at all. But if you did, space it out over a period of time. And like Julie said, if you're a person who has done any of these things, please don't feel bad. If you saw, you know, that On This Day app that comes up on Facebook and shows you your memories, oh my gosh, everything I just told you not to do, I've done. Okay. Like, they show up and I'm like, oh, delete. I did that. It's only through me just getting some training and some personal development that I've learned these things. Okay. So I didn't know this. This isn't something that it just happened through trial and error and me just figuring it out. Now, lastly, I just want to briefly show you Instagram and show you how to figure out some hashtags. Okay. Now, Instagram is most definitely a phone app. It is not as well formatted for computer, but I am showing you on my computer because I'm not on my phone tonight. So I am going to show you one last thing. I'm going to go over to Instagram, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. So again, Instagram looks different on your phone than it does, you know, on your computer. So if I want to, let's see, that was cute. Oh, brother. So I'm going to go to my wall and grab something. Hang on. So if I don't know if I can do this now. I had this all figured out. No, you know what? I'm not going to be able to show you guys. I'm going to do a quick video that I'll pop in the I'm going to post this replay on our team pages. And then I'm going to do a quick video on my phone of Instagram so that you can see what I mean about how to use hashtags and how to find the right ones. Ultimately, you want to use hashtags, whether it's on Facebook or on Instagram. You want to separate them from the text so that, you notice sometimes people put dot, then hit enter, and put dot, then hit enter, and put dot. It's so that the hashtags don't mix in with the text because it's confusing to some people visually. That's the only reason. But when you use hashtags, you want them to be hashtags that are highly followed. Now, you can create your own brand, and you could have like Sewing Mama. Okay, let's say that was and you could start your own hashtag, which is like the hashtag sign Sewing Mama. I have one that's hashtag Bostic Family, hashtag Sarah and Robbie. Those are the two that I use a lot. I also used United in Motherhood a lot because it's got millions and millions of hashtags, and people will search out hashtags to find things, and that's how they find you. And it may sound hokey, but it really works. I've had 2 people reach out to me on Instagram since I started doing this religiously, faithfully, which has been about a month. I'm wanting to know, what do you do? Because my pictures don't have plexus on them on Instagram at all. I'm posting lifestyle, and I'm posting about nutrition and healthy living and funny stuff and winter go away and stuff like that. That's what I'm posting on Instagram. And my hashtags, again, they're separated. And on Instagram, when you start typing something in with a hashtag, it'll populate all these hashtags underneath. And it'll show you how many posts contain that hashtag. The ones with the most hashtags are the ones that's the one you want to touch and use for your hashtag. And then all of a sudden you'll notice that like 10 people that you've never heard of will like your post. I just want to leave you guys with one last thing because I think we're running low on time. So I can open up the floor for a second. But, and it's all about having a public profile. So I used to be a little scared to have my kids' pictures on. I know it's probably hard to believe, but I was scared to have my kids' pictures on Facebook in a public way. And I always had it just for friends. And when I started with Plexus, one of the first things that I learned about social network marketing is to, publicize my content. And that's also so people can find you through hashtags. It's one reason. And another reason is then people can share your content and you never know who it's going to reach. So I am public on Facebook. I wasn't on Instagram, and mostly because I have a lot of teenagers in my life who aren't family, who are part of my work family. And so I was uncomfortable. And then I watched an Instagram training the other night. It was like, you're not doing yourself really a whole lot of good unless you go public. So my profile is now public. But the neat thing about it is every time I post anything that uses the hashtags that I just mentioned to you, I get between 15 and 20 new followers off of like a couple of days worth of posts. So it's worth doing. It is worth doing. But again, if you're just getting started and you want to focus on one platform, please stay with Facebook because it really does make sense. So I am going to, you guys can unmute yourselves if you have any questions, or you can ask them in the chat. And if you prefer to ask in the chat, and we can answer them that way. And I would ask you to speak up because my computer's acting funny and I can't really hear very well. But any questions are welcome, and all are good questions because someone else probably has it.
Yeah, I don't have a question, more of a comment.
Okay.
You talked about what to post and content to post. Do you just want to mention some key times of the day?
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. So Wednesday and Sunday are the hottest days for social media. Wednesday, noon hour, Wednesday, late afternoon, and all of Wednesday evening are great times. That's why our Plexus happy hour is on a Wednesday night. Okay. So Wednesday is huge. Saturday is a busy day for people. They're getting their stuff done. Some people work, but the people who aren't working are getting stuff done. They're figuring out, they're getting the cobwebs off their brain from the week. They're doing kids' activities and birthday parties and shopping and all that stuff. Sunday is more of a down day for some people, and most people are on social media on Sunday. And any time after noon on Sunday is a great time to save your favorite posts or to create a suspenseful post that maybe has a dramatic sort of follow-up the next day. So Wednesdays and Sundays are key. Any other night of the week, Monday to Thursday after 8. Fridays don't tend to be a big night, although recently, Julie, you did a post that got like huge traction on Friday at supper time. I was like, what? It was crazy.
It was very crazy and very unexpected. Like I kind of put it out there because it wasn't purposeful to post at that time. Like it was on my heart. So I put it out there, and it was crazy. So you never know. Now, you know what? If that had been a Plexus post, I wouldn't have known that. But because it was about Blake, a lot of people just happened to, like, they caught it. And so I saw the numbers. So it was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, Julie. Yeah. So those are kind of the hot times. But anytime, if you've got something that you want to say and you're nervous to say it, and now's the time you need to do it, just do it. If it's your very inaugural Facebook Live, just do it. Do it. And speaking of live videos, we do have a group on our team. It's called Freedom Revolution Facebook Live Training. If any of you would like to be added to that, can you just put your name in the chat or raise your hand and I'll add you to that group. Okay, Kent. It's a safe zone. Hey, Mike, I gotcha. It's a safe zone for you to, sure thing, Tawana. It's a safe zone for you guys to do Facebook Lives, and you'll see a whole bunch of them on there where people are like, is this thing on? Like, it's that basic, so don't ever feel self-conscious in that group. No, I'm just going to miss this. Okay, listen, look at all the people. Woo! So Susan, absolutely. It's nice to see you on. And Leslie, yes, nice to see you on as well. So I will add you folks to that page. I think I got everybody. Yeah, I did. And so this is a group that was started last summer, and there's a little bit of training. There's a pin post at the top, I believe. I'll go check. And I'll add you guys there. And it's just a great spot to go and practice your Facebook Live. And people who are in the group are so like encouraging. And if they're available when you do your Facebook Live, they'll jump on and go, "You're doing so great." And like, it's just nice because it's a very safe place, because Facebook Lives can be a little bit scary if you've never done them, or even if you have done them, but you've sort of lost your mojo and you want to get back into it. So I would recommend that for sure. One thing I do want to also say to you is just a few. Tara, okay, thanks. I got you, Tara. Is that when you are on social media and you're posting, make sure that like what you're saying is valuable to you. So posture yourself with confidence, and don't worry if somebody at the water cooler at work the next day maybe says something left of center about your post or about Plexus, or try to let that roll off your back, because people do that for a variety of reasons. And usually they're just as curious as the next person. They'd actually like to know what it is, but they don't know how to react to what you're doing. And so don't try not to worry is what I should say. I'm not going to say don't, but try not to be too concerned with that and just let it roll off your back. And if you want to talk about that, go to your team page and say like, "Oh my gosh, Harry put Plexus down at the water cooler today." Just do it. And people will be like, "I know." And it's okay. That's what our community is so great about, is helping us with that. Okay. You guys are quiet. Anybody else have anything they want to add tonight?
I don't know how quiet that big cough was. Sorry about that.
Go ahead,
Made
Ken.
Erica giggle.
Tanya, when you missed this
Oh,
training,
I can't hear you, Kent. Sorry.
sorry, can you hear me now?
A little bit. Go ahead.
When you mentioned all this training, this private training, are we just talking about Plexus, or just in general talking about anything, just to get the experience of talking live?
The Facebook Live group, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's what it is. I'm going to show it to you really quick. It's not training in the sense that there's like timed, although we could have a timed training. So this is the group, Facebook Revolution Facebook Live Training. And so there's Janet. She's testing out the waters and she's giving it a try. And then, oh yeah, this was a post that I did, a tip that you can actually fix your frozen face. You can actually, there's different shots. So there's a video on that, like how to change this frozen picture on your Facebook Live so that you don't look like that. So there's little tips and tricks. Who else has done lives on here? different people. Julie, you've probably done one on here before. It's a great place to practice, and I would recommend going over there to practice for sure. But I will add over here, I'll add those people that asked tonight to make sure that you're over there.
Add Mindy to your list. She also just
Mindy?
typed in, she'd like in. Yeah.
Oh, awesome, Mindy. Great. Sweet. Okay, so I'm just gonna, right. Awesome, yeah. And it's interesting because we haven't talked about that group in a while, but it was valuable for so many last summer and fall. So we'll re-ramp that back up again. Sweet. Thanks, Kent. Did that answer your question?
Sort of, yeah. I'll look into it and I'll understand it more. So.
Okay. I'll add you guys and tag you there so you don't have to try to find it after the fact. Okay. Go ahead, Tammy.
I was just going to ask Kent if he meant, do you go on and actually say something that you're going to say on your own Facebook Live? Like, are you wondering, or is that what you meant?
Yeah, if I want to practice and I want to talk about something with Plexus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of practice before actually going live to everybody that's non-Plexus.
Yeah, you can use it for both. So you can go on just to turn it on and see how you hit the camera on and hear how you sound and see what you look like and just say hi. Yeah. Or you can actually go on and practice something that you want to say. You can go on and do it there before you go on your own page and do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
So go on there and practice, Kat. Awesome.
I have to do that too.
We'll go on there and throw some hearts on your live, Tammy.
Yeah, I'm still working up the nerve. It's coming.
Yeah, I know. For sure. And you know what the great thing about lives is, do a live about something you're really comfortable doing, right? Or something funny. Like we played a game of that Bean Boozled one night, and it's like flavored jelly beans. They're disgusting. Like they're the same. There's two that are the same color. You have to guess which one actually tastes good and which one tastes like something really gross that I won't say out loud. And so then you get people's facial expressions, and it's just really funny. We played it with the kids one night, and we did a Facebook Live on that, and it got a lot of views because it's funny. It's valid. It's content. It's like entertainment, right? Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Tanya, I'm just going to add a bonus item to tonight's training. Just to remind people that there is an event in Opportunity of Hope tomorrow night, Wednesday. It is at 7 Eastern, which is 8 Atlantic. So if you have people that you've added to Opportunity of Hope, tonight would be a really good way to touch back with them to talk about that. Or maybe there's somebody you have in mind that you'd like to ask their permission to add them to a group for tomorrow night. So that has nothing to do with what we did tonight, but it's just something to keep in mind. If you're like, if you haven't done your IPA yet today, and you're like, what am I going to talk about? There's something you might want to add to your list of touchbacks or reaching out to people. So something to keep in mind. And then next Wednesday, Tanya, is the happy hour. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two. So so if somebody comes, oh no, I'm busy tomorrow night, then a nice way to segue is, oh, well, that's all right. The post will still be over from this one, but there's one next week too. So why don't you let me add you to the group and you can take in, whatever you can of either of those events. So just as another way to start the conversation or keep the conversation going tonight if you haven't done your IPA.
Yeah. And just for those of you who are new, remember IPA just stands for stuff that you do that can help create income for you or grow your team or your customers. So those are the kinds of activities we like to be doing. So if you made a list of people, let's say you made a list of as many people as you could, but start with 100, family, friends, coworkers, acquaintances, people in your kids' activities, your church, anything that you belong to, make lists of those people. And you know what? Invite them to the event tomorrow night and ask them if, just tell them how excited you are about this new thing that you're starting and you would love for them to see what it's all about. And could you invite them to this thing and add them to this group? And if they say yes, add away. And if you have people you've added a long time ago that have kind of like fizzled out. We all, if you've been with the business for a while, you definitely have people on an opportunity, I hope, like that. Then circle back around. You can look at the list of members and see which ones you added. It actually says who adds whom anyway on there. So just go through there, write their names down, and then send them all a little message and say, hey, tomorrow night, guess what? And next Wednesday, holy smokes, right? Cool. Thanks, Julie. Groovy. Awesome. Well, listen, guys, thank you very much. It's been fun. And I will post this training, because if you want to go back and do any of this on your own, you can. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you guys can all make it to the event on our Opportunity Hope tomorrow night. It'll be good. Okay. Bye-bye.